Yeah. Well, I love that story. And I feel like you have such a unique perspective too, because like you said, like most people, I mean, probably myself included, just feels like we have to wake up, early. We have to wake up early. We have to be really committed. We have to be really intentional with our time to make sure that we're, moving our big rocks, as we love to say in sales.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like again, you just have such a unique experience because you've seen it both ways. You've seen it from that side where, hey, I got to get up and grind and move my big rocks, to like the stay-at-home dad where you get to spend a bunch of time with your kids all the time. Do you feel like having both seen both sides of those things, do you feel like that's changed how you've manage your time or just how you approach things now?
It does. So like I said, I grew up in a conservative home,
Yeah.
which is, hey, wake up early, go to work all day, come home, and spend some time with your kids if you can. That was kind of, um, I learned through this whole situation that your time is flexible. You do
Mm.
not have to wake up at 5 a.m. if it doesn't work that day. Are there
Yep.
benefits to it? Sure. In fact, I did this morning. There are great reasons to wake up early and get going. But you know what? If you've got a kid that's sick and up in the night, it's okay to get up and help them and not be upset with your wife, who's also super tired,
Yeah.
from taking care of them all day, and do it yourself and skip your morning routine once in a while. I think
Hmm.
it's great to have a routine and to follow a schedule, and it really gets things done. But just having your mind open to, like, I can I can go to the gym in the evening if I need to. I don't have to miss it,
Yep.
right? If I can't get up at 5, I could do that later. I could do that on my lunch break if I have to. You
Mm-hmm.
can move things around. Sometimes jobs don't allow you to do that. Your 9 to 5 is really, really, strict and tight. I'm lucky enough to work at Red Sky where it's really flexible. As long as I get the work done, we are, good. Which does require the hours, right? It's not
Yeah.
I'm just taking the hours off. But I can move them around, and if I can send emails after the kids go to bed, I put an hour in at 10 o'clock at night, and
Yep.
like you're still getting it all done, and you don't have to get wrapped into this thought that I work during the day, I get a few hours with my kids at night, and that's how it is. There's a lot of flexibility in life that
Mm.
I feel like nobody talks about, and not everybody, again, most people get stuck in that, have to do it this way, and that's all I know.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite, little sayings, I guess, is, the only people that are going to remember that you worked late or worked overtime in 20 years are going to be your kids.
I just saw
And
that on LinkedIn yesterday, and I was like, that is, but so I loved it, but I also hate the fact that it's kind of implying that you shouldn't work hard, which I also
yep.
don't agree with, right? I think that that's a good thing to think about is what are you giving up in order to work hard? That doesn't mean you should
Hmm.
stop working hard. It means you need to change
Yes.
some things around, still work hard, but remember what's most important, and that's your family and your kids. So,
Yeah. 100%. Well, and I think for me personally, like I've realized as I've, gotten older, had different careers, started a business and things, I've realized it, at least for me personally, I think it really comes down to intentionality, right? Like, and in the entrepreneurial world, like there's going to be days where you have to put in that, 12, 13, 15-hour day just to get things growing. And there's going to be other days where, maybe you get to take off at, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
right.
And just, I mean, just being intentional with the time that you are allotting to both to work and to your family, I think is hugely critical and is easy to overlook. But I'm really curious because as we've talked about already, you've had a myriad of different careers and different industries and different businesses. So do you think that there's like a certain are there any common threads, I guess, where if you have that thread, then you're more likely to be successful, kind of regardless of whatever it is you're selling?
Yeah. So I think there's a few different things, right? And it's gonna go back mostly to what we've already talked about.
Mm.
Um, and there are some traits that people have that are good at sales, typically, right? They're persistent, they're not afraid of what they're selling, they're not afraid to talk to people, they're not afraid to push a little harder.
Yep.
Those are all great, but in order to see success and long-term success in sales in general, goes right back to honesty and trust.
Yeah.
I've seen some of those guys that are not honest or trustworthy. They can make a lot of sales, but they don't
Yeah.
last. They don't
Yep.
last in sales. They jump from thing to thing, and they never, update their LinkedIn with where they work because they don't want
Mm.
anybody to know. And so they can make a buck here and there, but they burn bridges everywhere they go. Um, but if you can do it with honesty and you're trustworthy with what you're doing, that's where the long-term success comes. Switching that mindset, like we talked, from sales to solving a problem.
Mm.
You're not just trying to make money, you're trying to help people. um and when you can get it in your mind that you want other people to succeed, then
Yes.
that's it makes it easy, right? To do it the right way for the right reasons. And so, um, kind of, the common thread there is that honesty and trust. I think that if every sales guy would have that, we wouldn't have such a bad idea about sales guys, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I don't want to be sold. I don't want to be sold. And I get that because there's a lot of people that come in just to make a buck. But the people who do it long term and last beyond what I mean, I've been in sales now for 20 years, and I don't have people upset with me. And not that I've never upset someone, right? Either.
Yeah.
That's not the case. But like I don't see a number on my phone calling me and I'm nervous to answer it. Like, oh, I
Mm.
wonder if this is that guy that messed with or whatever. It's like in fact, my wife gets upset with me because I answer numbers I don't know all the time. It's kind of my thing, and I know it's weird, but I am not afraid to have a conversation with anybody who wants to talk to me because I haven't burned those bridges with people that I'm nervous about talking to them. If they're calling me, it's probably for a good reason,
Yeah.
because I know that I have put that out there in the first place. I don't intentionally hurt anyone or try to take advantage of them. And so I honest and trustworthy, and then I can answer my phone.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Well, I mean, really what it comes down, I mean, I feel like we talk about it a ton in sales, as we've said, but is the relationship piece, right? Is like ultimately like what kind of person do you want to be in a relationship with? And I mean, like that's true for like personal relationships, romantic relationships, and professional relationships. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be best friends with somebody who you're in like a great professional relationship with, but you are going to find that respect and then ultimately that honesty and trust if it's going to last for the long term, right? But speaking of relationships, it's something we kind of touched on in your intro that I want to dig into a little bit more is faith. Like that's I understand that's not a big deal to everybody, but from you and I talking off air, it's a big deal to both of us. So I'm really curious, like, how do you feel like your faith has guided you? And I mean, sales is all ups and downs. Like you can be, be on top of the mountain in the morning and be at the bottom of the mountain in the afternoon. So I mean, how do you feel like your faith has guided you through some of those ups and downs, both in sales and in entrepreneurship? And then how have you found that balance between faith and business?
Um, yeah, faith is huge for me. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints
Mm.
and have been my entire life. I went out and served a 2-year mission in West Africa for them. I currently serve in my local ward here. Um, it is it is my life, like faith and family, way over sales, right? So when we
Yeah,
talk about balance, it's not really actually super balanced because like I feel like I've
one's way
got
more
my
important than the
focus
other.
right.
Yeah.
But obviously you have to provide for your family. You have to, I have to be a sales guy today. That's
Mm.
what I have to do. And so but the reason that it's so important to me, and I've learned this kind of recently, is that faith is the only thing that hasn't failed me in
Mm.
life. Um, I was a huge Utah Jazz fan for a long time, like
Mm.
the biggest. Like I
Mhm.
almost broke up with my wife because she left when we lost at a 3-point buzzer beater
Oh.
when we were dating. Um,
Mhm.
anyway, like they never won the championship, right? It never ended up well. They still to this day haven't. Work. right? I get all in at work and it's great. And I drink the Kool-Aid and I'm ready to go. And then they change the commission structure, or they
Mm,
let people go that I disagree with, or whatever. There's it, it kind of fails me no matter what. Personal relationships, even with your own family, your own wife, your kids. There's no relationship that's perfect except
yeah.
for the one with Christ. And
Mm,
that's my 100% opinion. He's my rock. He is woven through everything that I do, which goes back again to the trustworthy and honesty in sales, right? I it has to go together. I can feel comfortable at church with what I'm doing at work
mm,
if I have my focus on him and not on just the sale or just the girl or just the whatever. I mean, you name it, right? If your one true thing can be Christ, then everything that comes from that is good. Because, and I mean, prove me wrong here, but as far as I can tell, Jesus didn't teach anything bad.
yeah.